Welcome to Faith, Reason, and Geekdom. I'm your genuflexer, Roger. My brothers and sisters in Christ, join me every other Wednesday as we work out these three perspectives in our everyday lives. That's what I call Christian genuflexing. Truman Show. Today, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about a review on the 1998 Jim Carrey starring role as, I think, one of his most underrated films, The Truman Show. Now, I'm not too sure if you guys seen it. It's okay. I'll do like a quick little, not exact walk by, but we will get the gist of the story, the summary. I think this is a really good movie. It's obviously spoiler alerts if you haven't seen it for a movie that's like well past a decade, well past that. But spoiler alerts are going to be in effect. Again, thank you guys for listening to this show. God bless. Please do me a favor, share this around with your friends, family, people you like, people you don't like. You know, anybody you can think of that would really help me out. Give a review on Apple Podcast. That would also very much help me out. This is a bi-weekly show. Wednesdays we come out, we talk about anything with a Catholic spin on it, conspiracies, movies, faith, reason. Well, obviously you know the show, you guys know Faith, Reason, and Geekdom. So I wanted to talk about this movie because I think this has some very interesting themes, some religious, some existential themes, a little bit of philosophy, maybe some conspiracies. You know, you got the fake world, the dome, you know, for all you Matrix people, fake universes, fake stuff, fake reality. It has a lot of Gnosticism, a little bit of nihilism. The TruMan, we'll get into that. Christoph, one of the leader who plays like the God figure. Again, this movie came out in the summer of 1998, directed by Peter Weir, starring Jim Carrey, obviously Ed Harris, Paul Giamatti is in there. Dramedy, you know, like a comedy drama. I mean, there is comedic elements in this summer. I mean, this was released in June 1st, 1998, as a summertime kind of blockbuster. But I don't think people are ready. I think this movie is maybe ahead of its time. It's a very good film. You have the director coming in there, and it's won some awards. It's really talking about the simulation, reality, conspiracy, metaphysical kind of, and then obviously reality TV. You know, Truman Burbank is the star of the show, Truman Show, and he lives in a reality from birth. Few unwanted pregnancies, so they use this kind of like experiment to try to see what's going to happen, and they pick Truman. Truman wins out, and they pretty much adopted. It's a corporation adopting this baby. And that kind of speaks on from the Catholic side is artificial birth. You guys know the teaching on artificial birthing. As long as it fits within something to help the pregnancy in a natural way to help, that's okay in church teaching. But if it actually replaces the marital act, if it completely replaces the marital act, then that goes against the church's teaching. We're not allowed to do that in IVA, similar things like that. And there's a bunch of other guys you want to look up the moral theology or moral health advice from the theological or church teaching standpoint on what is good, what is allowed, and what is not allowed. So I think that's very interesting because it speaks on that, and you see how this could turn out. Corporations starting to raise or adopt, and that's what we see with Truman Burbank, Jim Carrey's character, that he is a product of unwanted pregnancies and pretty much a test tube, and he is birthed live on reality TV, and he goes about his whole 30-something-year-old lives as Truman, the true man, they would say. Gnosticism, the idea that there is a material evil God and then the bad good God, and he traps us in this material world. and Gnosticism just bleeds through this film. There's this evil, bad, materialistic God that's trying to control us in the world, trying to control every aspect of our life in the world and stop us for being the true men. Jim Carrey also, if you guys know a little bit of the history, he was in number 23, Bruce Almighty. He was the mask, in the mask, gained powers through this occult magic mask from a pagan god, Loki, I think it was, in the mask. There's a lot of different things he's talked about. Religion aspects, goes on different rants. He talks about how things aren't real and all of this is meaningless, pointless, a little bit of nihilism. I don't know if you guys seen the Netflix documentary. I think it was called it's about Andy Kaufman and the movie that he did. You guys should watch that. It's very interesting. Truman, Jim Carrey character, is staring at a mirror. Some people say occult ideas that the mirror is like a dimension, some type of dimension or portal or opening. So it's very interesting. It kind of opens up with him talking through the mirror, which is actually a camera and the world could see. Because remember, this is a reality show. So here's a little clip from the movie.
We've become bored with watching actors give us phony emotions. We're tired of pyrotechnics and special effects. While the world he inhabits is, in some respects, counterfeit, there's nothing fake about Truman himself. No scripts, no cue cards. It isn't always Shakespeare, but it's genuine. It's a life.
I'm not gonna make it. You're gonna have to go on without me. No way, mister. You're going to the top of this mountain. Broken legs and all.
We find many viewers leave him on all night for comfort.
You're crazy, you know that?
Well, for me, there is no difference between a private life and a public life. My life is my life, is The Truman Show. The Truman Show is a lifestyle. It's a noble life. It is a truly blessed life.
Yeah, tell me something I don't know. All right, promise me one thing, though. If I die before I reach the summit, you'll use me as an alternative source of food.
Oh yeah, that's a little clip from the movie. So he's opening up, going about his life, and it kind of talks about the same thing over and over. His life is meaningless over and over. Same things are happening. Remember, everybody in the show is fake. Everybody's an actor. To his best friend that he has talks with, to his wife, everybody is an actor. Everything is coordinated. Everything has scheduled. There's scheduled. You can't go off script. They traumatize him from wanting to go on the plane, from wanting to do certain things to get off of the island, pretty much, to keep him there from exploring. So when the movie starts out, he gets out, says hi to his neighbor, does all the spiel, and then a light falls from the sky. It's a satellite camera that has falls and almost hits him, which he sees, and it says Sirius, which has a lot of like mystical, cult-ish backstories to that people would use and stuff like that in the indoctrination or all this, some type of weird little mythology behind that. So that kind of like a little nod to that. Falling from the sky, radio tells them, it's a plane thing broke off and fell down. Nothing to worry about there. But try to scare him from plane. Office, insurance. That's right. He sells insurance and stuff. So he's selling insurance. He has to do a deal near the ocean. He can't do it because then we find out later that because this is a reality show, millions and millions and millions of people are watching this at home. Truman is not aware of this. He's the only one that's truly, truly real, that doesn't know that it's a show. Every single person on there, everything's fake. But they traumatized him in an earlier episode, I guess, when he was, because they're just 24/7, 7 days a week, all the time, since birth. And so he's about 30 years old now, and he was traumatized when he was little watching his dad drown in an accident when they were on sea. So that's why he doesn't want to go past the river. So he tries to go in this town. It's called Sea Haven. So, and they try to fluff it up. There's news articles about how it's the best place to live. Again, to try to keep Truman on the island, on this fake dome island that they build and filmed him on. So there's population control, or not population control, but there's control of people trying to control him to stay there, to say he got a great job. I think one of his best friend even says that he has a great job. He has his desk job. He would kill to get a desk job, all that. But he's going through life, and he knows something is not like awry. He knows something is awry. Something's going on. He can't quite put his finger on it, though. But this is a good performance, too. If you've seen, was it Man on the Moon? Man on the Moon from Jim Carrey. You've seen a bunch, Internal Spotlight of the, what is it? Internal Spotlight of the Hidden. I can't remember the name of the movie. But he gives good performances. When Truman, he gives a very solid performance. But I think the movie is very interesting. All these different ideas and stuff like that. So that's kind of what got me and interested me. So we're going through the movie, and apparently shows a little flashback of him where this actress in the show, I guess, felt guilty, felt moved, felt attraction to Truman, and she actually tried to warn him about there's something going on, that this is fake, this isn't real. Before she could tell him, they whisk her away, almost like like if she's just mentally unstable, and he kind of forgets about her, but he still has memories of her. He still has this urge to find her, this urge to seek her, this urge to know her, but he still persists in his everyday life. With his marriage is not good. His marriage is not a loving marriage. Well, again, she's an actress, and I guess he could sense it because there's nothing there. They keep bugging him. Her and his mom keep bugging. Again, it's not even his real mom. It's an actress trying to get them to have a baby. So that's part of the big plot of the next show, or the show. They want to see this him have children, because everybody's grown up with him since he was like 1 year, since birth. Actually, they had a camera in the actual pregnancy process, so that's pretty interesting. Witness his dad die, has all these things going on. This girl that's haunting his head that he can't get out, and we see him slowly waking up. So there's this one scene where he runs into his dad, or what he thinks is his dead dad, which drowned. But he's like a homeless man, and he sees him, and he's like, "Dad, is that you?" And he tries to chase after him, and these people, very like Adjustment Bureau style, Men in Black style, carry this guy off, homeless guy, and take him away. And he's haunted by that again. So all these things are starting to happen. He's starting to notice things. I think at one point he goes into his car, and the radio switches frequencies, and he hears what the showrunners, the producers, are hearing, and it's commentary on everything that he's doing. He's driving, he's taking a left, and he's freaking out. It's like, why is it knowing what I'm doing? Why is it commentary on what I'm doing? So he starts to kind of wake up. He even sees an office building where the back of the elevator's like missing, and it's like the producers and technical supporters just hanging out, and they freak out and they try to get him away. So he's starting to see everything, starting to notice the same people are around his neighborhood. So he's clearly waking up. Meanwhile, there's the actress that first tried to warn him, or ex-actress that tried to warn him, is out in the real world, and she has rallies to free Truman. She's part of an organization to go out. So they had the Ed Harris character, Christoph, which, again, a very interesting name. He is the god of this world that created this world. And he comes off as very greedy, very cold, very controlling. Again, that Gnostic element of this world, material world that the bad god created. Again, that's their beliefs, stuff like that. So they show a lot of different things about that, different aspects. So he starts predicting. He starts trying to show people, prove. He goes to his friends like something's going on. And here's another little scene that you see.
Truman? Honey, are you okay?
Get in.
Truman.
Look.
What?
I predict that in just a moment, we will see a lady on a red bike, followed by a man with flowers, and a Volkswagen Beetle with a dented fender.
Truman, please.
Look. Lady. Flowers. And...
Truman, this is silly.
There it is! There it is! There's a dented beetle! Yes! Woo! Don't you want to know how I did that? I'll tell you. They're on a loop. They go around the block. They come back. They go around again. They just go round and round. Round and round.
You know, I invited Rita and Marlon for a barbecue on Sunday. I'm going to make my potato salad, and I need you to remind me that we need more charcoal.
Are you listening to a word I'm saying?
And so he's trying to escape too, and then the cars are blocking him off. It's just people are getting in his way. At one point, he follows his fake actress wife to work, and people are in his way. He's trying to get a hold of her, and he's obsessed with going to Fiji. Break free or awaken, I guess, you know, a little bit of element of Genesis where the conscience eats the fruit of the apple, I guess, if you were to say, and conscience is born. So they even have the moon is fake. Like they can put rain if they want it. They can make it rain. They can make it windy. They can make it sunny. They could put the sun up. They could put the night, the dark. The moon is fake. The base where Ed Harris's character is in there is actually in a little moon. So it's like another little conspiracy theme of the fake moon. Fake moon. That's very interesting that they have that in there. Again, there's a lot of little nods and little signs, stuff like that. But he doesn't go because they go Christoph again. It says this one line: people accept the reality of the world that they're presented in an interview when they're asking how come Truman hasn't tried to leave the island, leave this, and that's what he's pretty much. That's what he says. It's like a prison world, you know? And the girl Sylvia, I think, is believed, the actress that tried to wake him up and warn him, she calls into an interview show that they're having with the creator, Christoph, and she gets on him and tells him how wrong it is. And Christoph, the evil, you could say, guy who took this innocent baby, unwanted pregnancy, and created this fake world, tries to justify himself in the interview, saying that he's given him a good life. He's given him a perfect life. He's given him safety. He's given him everything he would ever need, you know? And so she's saying that, no, that he took away his free will, and he's arguing that he does still have free will. But again, a Gnosticism thing about bad God, evil God trapping us in this evil material world, and we have to wake up ourselves. But also points to this horrible corporation adopting this baby Truman. Reason why that the Catholic Church teaches that children are a gift from God and should come through the marital act. Again, you can take things to help assist. If you have trouble, if they, certain medications could help, processes could help contract the pregnancy, but it should always happen within the bounds of the loving marital act between man and between wife. So we see what happened. I mean, this is a pretty extreme thing. For now, I hope this doesn't happen, at least within 100 years. So hopefully, but what if corporations start? Some would even argue that we're doing that right now. Some would even say that we are doing that. There's frozen embryos in labs, thousands and thousands all over. People would already say that we're doing that. So the fake news continues, the propaganda trying to get Truman to stay there, and he's had enough. He's trying to escape. He wants to go to Fuji. And he finally fakes them out. Because remember, his everything act is being recorded. Everything's being recorded. So he fakes this little plan to fake that he's asleep. The old pillows underneath the covers and blankets. So he escapes and he gets on this boat, and he finally gets his boat, facing his fear, flying away. Sailing away on the water, and he sees the water and he wants out. But then they also see him, Kristoff, the camera crew. They find him, and again, he's like God, and he can control the waves. So he starts controlling the water, controlling the sea, controlling the wind, flipping them over in the boat. He's in the boat, Santa Maria. It's a very interesting scene, just showing the godlike power from Kristoff controlling, telling people, turn up the water, turn up the wind, turn this up, create this huge, massive storm. So he's in there. So Psalm 139 has a little Easter egg in his sailboat, on the Santa Maria sailboat that Truman's sailing on, trying to escape, trying to ascend, trying to wake up, trying to escape this prison world. Psalms 139 makes a reference to that because of his boat. You see the number, just 139, on the actual sail. So he's cursing God. He's yelling at the sky. You know, famous scene, people yelling out at the sky, yelling at the sun, shouting at him, telling him he has to do better and all this. And then, again, he just sweeps them by with the waves and the wind. But he makes it out, and he crashes right into the Matrix E fake world, prison world, crashes right through it, and he sees the sky and the clouds. It's all fake, and he's trying to knock it down. And then we hear Kristoff, the Christ figure, the God figure, the leader of this whole reality show from Truman. We hear him coming through the sun, through the clouds, and this is different dialogue, or the first time dialogue that you'll ever hear from Kristoff speaking to Truman. So it's very good dialogue, and he pretty much has to make a final decision because there's a little exit door, and he hits it, and it flies out, and the door flies open of the dome. And he's standing right there, going up the stairs to the level where the door is. So he's standing there, and you're going to hear this dialogue that he has with Kristoff, the true man versus the Christ figure, Kristoff. So this is the dialogue that comes through. Here it is.
Oh, don't do it. You can speak. I can hear you.
Who are you?
I am the creator of a television show that gives hope and joy and inspiration to millions.
Then who am I?
You're the star.
Was nothing real?
You were real. That's what made you so good to watch. Listen to me, Truman. There's no more truth out there than there is in the world I created for you. Same lies. The same deceit. But in my world, you have nothing to fear. I know you better than you know yourself.
Never had a camera in my head.
You're afraid. That's why you can't leave. It's okay, Truman. I understand. I have been watching you your whole life. I was watching when you were born. I was watching when you took your first step. I watched you on your first day of school. The episode when you lost your first tooth. You can't leave, Truman.
Please, God.
You belong here
You can do it.
with me. Talk to me. Say something. Well, say something, goddammit. You're on television. You're live to the whole world.
In case I don't see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
So, Christoph represents the Godfather, Truman the Truman represents the human, and Omnicon is the name of the corporation. Very similar, omnipresent, especially making a reference to the Psalms. So, on the sales ship. So, very interesting. Trying to free people and make their own path, make their own way, just like Jim Carrey sailing off in The Truman Show. Very interesting movie. He does decide to leave. He walks through the exit door. And some people are happy. Some people are happy. Some people are disappointed. And one of the last thing, two guards have been watching them the whole movie. They periodically pop in and out, watching The Truman Show, as do other audience. They're happy. And then all of a sudden, the wire goes off, or the live feed goes out. It cuts out because he's gone. It's blank. And they just turn to each other and say, what else is on? And continue their lives. So after this huge, big thing happens, and then their response is, change the channel. Let's move on with our lives. So again, this is a good movie. You guys should really check it out. So watch the whole thing. I didn't watch this when it first came out back in the late 90s. I saw it later after. But this is a very, very good movie. A lot of Gnostic themes, a lot of prison world themes, a lot of good God, bad God, free will, fake reality, the simulation, the Matrix, a lot of different stuff, finding your way. There's a lot of light bearer, Luciferian things in there. It's mind control is also in there. Speak on different experimentation, reality TV. It's pretty crazy. It's a wild, wild, wild movie, and I highly, highly recommend this movie. If you guys, I'd probably give this movie an 8.5. The story alone is amazing. The acting's solid. Directing's okay. It could have been better. Could have had a little bit more directing style. I wasn't a big fan of the whole entire cinematography. Wasn't the biggest fan, but the story, the concept. The concept's great concept. Really like that. So this is The Truman Show. Yeah, so I would probably give it an 8.5. Loved it. You guys should really watch it again. If you guys can, please subscribe and follow me. Twitter, Facebook, anywhere you guys can get it. But again, Google Podcast, Spotify, most podcast apps or things you can find it. I will definitely be on there. Again, thank you guys for listening to this bi-weekly show on Wednesdays. Godspeed.